What's going on, guys? This is a different kind of video. Hey, Bo, how you doing, buddy? This is basically a video to tell you guys about my life story. I don't think I've ever done a life story before, which I know some of you guys probably know my past. I did tell you guys I was going to make a gameplay video this week. Well, I don't know if I will. I know I keep promising you guys gameplay videos. I'm sorry. I love doing vlogs more. So, I will come out with videos, okay? I don't know when, but I will. Probably this week. Who knows? Before I leave to go camping. But anyway, guys. I basically want to tell you guys my life story about how I started YouTube and how I got into cars, how I came where I am today. So basically, guys, when I was born in 19. I was born on October 24th, 2002. I'm 18. I'll be 19 this year. And growing up, guys, my family, I grew up with, you guys know I have a brother. You guys never seen my video before. I have a brother. I've got a mom and a dad. I've got one brother. I would have had one brother and another brother and sister, but they passed away when they was born. Sadly, I'll tell you guys about that. Basically, after my brothers were born, my mom had twins, and the nurse that was in the hospital basically cut her water, and basically killed my brother and sister. They were babies in her stomach, but there is a good side to that, guys. They said if they would have been born, I probably wouldn't be here. So that's the good side about it. But I wish they were born, because I'd like to have another brother and sister. I just think it'd be cool, especially have a sister. I love my brother, but I'm just saying, I would have been the youngest. I am the youngest out of me and my brother. My brother is 10 years older than me. He's 28. He's 28. I'm 18. And growing up in life, guys, I was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. I live in Jellicoe, as you guys can tell. I was born here in Jellicoe. I was raised here in Jellicoe, but I was born in Knoxville. I was born and raised here in Tennessee and Kentucky. I've always loved the South. I grew up around. This is where I grew up at. I lived in this house my entire life. When I grew up, I've always loved country, my country ways. I grew up in the South. I grew up around country people. As you guys can tell, I grew up here. And I love it here. I love the South. I love Tennessee and Kentucky. I would never live anywhere else. Guys. I love it here too much. I love it so much. This is always will be my home. And almost everybody in my family is country and me. And that's the way my family raised me. And I love fishing. I love hunting. I love going out and riding in the mud. I love country music. You guys know I do. And I love doing all kinds of stuff outside. And I love the outdoors. I love it so much. I love Tennessee. To me, guys, Tennessee and Kentucky are the two most beautiful states in the world. I know some of you guys might say other states, but guys, this is my home. So, but anyway, guys, I was born and raised here in Jellicoe, and my brother was 10 years old. No, wait. Yeah, I think my brother was 10 years old when I was born. I don't know, but anyway, he's 10 years older than me. He's 10 years older than me. But anyway, I told you guys he's 28, I'm 18. But anyway, I was born and raised here in Jellicoe. Growing up, I was raised, guys, around my grandparents a lot. And I was mostly raised around my dad's side, my mom and dad's side of the family, both. What got me into cars, well, I'll get to that in a little bit, but guys, the way I grew up loving trains. When I was little, and I still love trains today. When I was little, I really loved trains. Like, I was obsessed with trains. I still love trains today, but I'm not that obsessed with them no more as I used to be. I love trains. I'm not crazy obsessed with trains like I used to be, but I love trains. I still love trains to this day. If I could, I would love to become a conductor and drive a steam locomotive train. That's my favorite kind of train. Not the diesel trains. I don't like them. Anyway, I grew up loving Thomas. I grew up watching Thomas when I was younger. I grew up watching that and Bob the Builder. I got still got a lot of trains from there. I don't play with them obviously, but um, I grew up loving that. Bob the Builder, grew up loving that. And then later on, and then guys, me and my family, we used to go out every weekend and go to the lake. We don't anymore. Mom got it to where she didn't want to do it no more. Me and my whole family used to go every weekend. We got that boat out there. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. That boat out there that we got. It hasn't been running in probably about 10 years. It's sit there, and Mom just gave up on it. But I miss it. I miss going to the lake every weekend. I wish we could bring that back. But I used to do that every weekend. And growing up, I loved it. I loved, like I said, I loved, and when I was little, and I still love today, I fell in love with Disney movies. When I was younger, after I kind of got out of Thomas and Bob the Builder and stuff, I started watching Disney movies when I was probably about 3 years old. Well, no, not 3 years old. It was probably no, I was five. I was about 4 or 5. Anyway, I remember one of the first Disney movies I ever watched. I think the first Toy Story movie. I fell in love with Toy Story, and I fell in love with cars. That's basically what kind of kicked me off with muscle cars. Was probably the Disney's car movies. Well, not only just that, it's one of them. And I started falling in love with that. I was like, man, I really love this right here. This is really cool. So I started watching a bunch of Disney movies. I still love them today. I still love Pixar. Like I watched Cars, Incredibles, Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Ratatouille. I've got a bunch of movies from that, and I grew up watching them movies. I don't like them Pixar movies they make nowadays that are junk to me. They don't make them like they used to. They don't make Disney movies any good anymore. Quit, Bo. Sorry, guys, he's scratching. But anyway, I grew up loving that type of stuff. I grew up watching other movies. And basically, quit. And basically what kicked me off, I guess, loving cars. Now, guys, I was raised when I was younger. I was raised right. My parents, they raised me to respect your elders and respect everything. And that's what I do, guys. I'm not like some people that are my kids, that are my age nowadays. Some of them, not all of them. There's people like at my school that I go with, not all of them. They're a bunch of, sometimes they act like idiots. Some of them, not all of them. And some of them are disrespectful. And some of them, not all of them. But I was raised to respect your elders and stuff like that, because like I said, I grew up around my grandparents. I was raised to respect everybody, not judge and stuff like that. That's how I was raised. And what got me into muscle cars is that my grandfather, it's not just my grandfather, it was my dad. Well, not really my dad, but my family. Basically, I started hanging, and what really got me into C10s was my poppy had a bunch of C10s, and we had C10s all through my family. My great grandfather had one. My poppy, he had one. Well, Poppy had a whole fleet of them actually. He had a whole fleet of them. Anyway, and he had one when I was younger. I mean, he drove it. That was his daily driver. Like, he drove it everywhere. And I rode in, and I was like, I really love this truck. And sadly, he got rid of it. Sadly, and then my great grandfather bought my brother a C10, which you guys know, it's that one out there sitting not in the garage. That one's mine, but the one sitting in our field. He got him that truck, and it was driving for a little bit until they took it apart, and it's been sitting out there ever since. Then his is a 71, and then my dad bought me one. That was sitting out, that where my poppy's got a whole fleet of C10s that are abandoned and stuff like that. There was a 67, and that is that one out there, and my dad bought it for me when I was little, and it's been sitting for about, I don't know, probably 8 years. And then you guys know 2 years ago, we went and got it, and it's here today. So we went and got it, and it's here today. And hopefully we're going, like I said, get restored and ready. And like I said, guys, we've had C10s all through my family, and I've been into muscle cars ever since I was a little kid. I've been into the old school cars most of all, because I love old. Like I wasn't deeply into it like I am today. Like I'm more old school than what I ever was. Like back then, and this is how I got into Camaros. If you guys not believe it, I used to be a Mustang guy. I used to love Mustangs. I still do today, but I used to want a Mustang until I saw the very first Transformers movie, Transformers 1. It was back in 2008 or something, I think, when it first came out. I can't remember when it was. But anyway, I saw that, and I was like, Bumblebee looks like a really cool car. And then I asked my brother and my mom, I said, what kind of car is Bumblebee? And he said, he's a Camaro. I'm like, Mom, I really want that to be my first car. And I always loved Camaros ever since. I started reading research about them, and I fell in love with the 5th gens. That's what I got. That's what got me started. And then I started looking at the old ones. I'm like, man, them cars look sexy. Them cars look so cool. But anyway, I think Dad's home. Give me a second, guys. Anyway, I was like, man, them cars look really nice. And I fell in love with the old ones, and my grandfather told me about them. Told me he had one. He had a 71, I believe, Camaro. What are you doing, Bobo? What are you doing, Bobo? Anyway, and I was like, man, I really want one of them. And my brother, he always had he's a Mustang guy. He got his Mustang when he was in high school, when he was about 16, 17 years old. And he's always been the Mustang guy. I've always been the Camaro guy, so we kind of bumped heads with that a little bit. But we do it just to mess with each other. I mean, he does like Camaros, but he's more of a Mustang guy. I like Mustangs. I'm more of a Camaro guy. So we give each other crap saying, oh, my old Camaros are better. He says Mustangs are better. So we can jump heads, and it's just to have fun with. That's what car guys do. But anyway, we just always have fun with it. And I started reading more about cars, about muscle cars. I started looking at Chevelles, Novas, Corvettes, Mustangs, Torinos, Bel Airs, Chargers. What got me into the 69 Dodge Charger is I didn't grow up watching the show. I grew up watching the 2004 movie. It wasn't the 2005 one with Johnny Knoxville. It was the 2004 or 3 one, which I can show you guys that right here. It's this one right here. This was a Dukes Hazzard that I grew up watching, and it got me into the 69 Dodge Charger and Fast and Furious. But that was a 70, of course. That was my brother's favorite movie, and it's mine too. Grew up watching Fast and Furious too, and this is what kicked me off with Dukes Hazzard and that. But compared to the show, this movie's junk compared to that show. That show's way better. I get why people love it so much more. But that's what got me into the 69 Charger, and that's another one of my dream cars. And I started watching Smokey and the Bandit. That's what got me into the Trans Am, and I just started liking them. And then my poppy is a big muscle car guy. My uncle's got a 67 Camaro, and I've always loved that car ever since I was a kid. I took for a ride in it, and it was one of the best rides I ever had. It was so comfortable. If I had that car, I'd drive it every day. I'd drive that thing all the way to Florida. I don't care. But anyway, I don't care. But anyway, and I grew up listening to I grew up listening to country music. I grew up listening to Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, and I grew up listening to some rock and roll. Like, I do like the 70s and 80s rock and roll guys, but I'm more into 50s and 60s. Like I started listening to Beach Boys when I was little, and Chuck Berry. And as I got older, my aunt introduced me to video games. And I remember the first game I ever played was Mario on the original DS. Man, that brings back memories. And I still got it. I still got my original DS. This right here, I don't think it works no more, but this was my original DS. And the first game I ever played on here was Mario, and that was my favorite game when I was little. And I started playing the Wii, and then I got into the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And one of my favorite games, and another game I played was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2. That was the first Call of Duty I ever played. I was like, man, this is really fun. And then I started playing GTA 4, but before Modern Warfare 2, and I was like, man, GTA, this is really fun. And I was like, man. And then later on, I started getting more and more into video games, and I started sitting and playing, doing nothing but playing video games. And I got out of it about a year or so later. And Mom and Dad got mad at me and said I need to start doing more stuff and not play video games as much. And I got in the habit of doing that. About 2 or 3 years ago, I changed. Like back in 8th grade, I've changed, and I wanted to do more stuff. So I quit doing that, but I still play games. Obviously, I play games almost not every day, but almost every day. I still love them, but I like to get out more. And guys, growing up, I didn't make the best of grades. I didn't make the best of grades when I was younger. And you guys know I got one more year left of school and I'm done. I didn't make the best of grades. I failed 4th grade. I got held back, and it's just I had no interest in doing it. And then later on, when I got into my freshman year of high school, I passed everything after my 4th grade class, and then I got in my freshman year of high school, and I didn't really do my work that much. I absolutely hated my freshman year, and I got put in summer school. But gladly, I only did it for about like a week and a half, and then I was done. But I did it online. I went the first day I went to school, and after I did it online. But ever since then, I haven't been. Ever since that ended, when I got back in school my sophomore year, I told myself I'm gonna stop doing this. I need to do my work so I can get out of this place. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my work now. I'm getting out. I'm gonna get out of that school, guys, because this is my last year of high school, and I'm gonna get out. And I'm glad I decided to do that. Obviously, I'm still in summer. I'm on summer break right now, but this is going to be my last year of school. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't make the best of grades. My mom, she got furious with me, and then I started making good grades, and then they started being more proud of me. And then, then later on, I wanted to be a NASCAR driver when I was younger, and I still do today. I still do, and I was like, because I got into racing. I fell in love with NASCAR. You guys know my favorite NASCAR driver all the time. Well, he's retired now as a NASCAR driver, but he still races, Jimmie Johnson. And basically what got me into NASCAR was watching Talladega Nights and cars and playing NASCAR games when I was younger. I was like, man, this looks so cool, racing. And I wanted to race ever since I was a kid. I might try to still become a NASCAR driver. But then back in my freshman year in high school, when we got my truck, I told brother, I said, I want to work on cars. Just the old stuff, not the new stuff. So I wanted to work on cars. So that's really what I really want to do right now. That's a backup plan for me if I don't become a NASCAR driver. Another plan is going Hollywood, being a train driver. I don't know. But anyway, another thing is that, guys, another thing, I grew up loving cars my whole life. Old school cars, old school trucks, and that's how I was raised. I like new cars, but not all of them, obviously. And no, guys, I'm not into Lamborghinis or Ferraris, any of that stuff. I'm not into that kind of car. I grew up around trucks and muscle cars. That's what I grew up with. And my mom, she likes Challengers. She's got a Challenger RT, and that's basically what I got into cars. And then later on, I started getting more and more and learning about cars and learning about the engines and learning about the certain colors, the years, and now I know more than anything. And then about 2 years ago, I started learning more about rock and roll from the 50s and 60s. I was like, man, I really love this music. And like, I got into Buddy Holly, I got into Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, I was always in Chuck Berry, and Beach Boys, the Beatles, Little Richard, Dion and the Belmonts, Sam Cooke, a bunch of them great rock and roll singers I got into. And right now I'm more old school than I ever been. And my brother, he's into LS swaps and he's into resto mod and stuff like that. I'm not, guys. I like keeping things looking like from the 60s. Now, I do like doing some custom stuff here and there, but not make it look all fully custom. You know what I'm saying? But he's into that. I'm not, because the way I grew up, I've always been around cars and trucks that have, that look like they're straight from the 50s and 60s. So that's like the way I like to keep it. And that's what I'm doing with my truck. But and you guys know my best friends. I don't know if you guys heard them before. I play games with them. My best friends, and I know they're probably gonna watch this. Zach, my best friend Zach, Anthony, Nathan, and Gage. I met them through video games, and they live in Kentucky. They live about 30 minutes away from me. Anyway, I met them back in 7th or 8th grade, and my friend Cletus Lay, well, he introduced me to my buddy Nathan, and then Nathan introduced me to Anthony. Anthony introduced me to Gage and Zach, and that's how I become best friends with them. And they're to me, guys, they're the bestest friends I can ever have. My friends in high school right now, I don't get to talk to them that much anymore. Some of them I'm probably not going to see that much again. So I talk to them, Gage and Anthony and Zach and Nathan. That's our group, and that's my main group I hang out with, and they're my best friends, and I'm thankful today every day for them. And I talk to them almost every day, some of them. But anyway, they're my best friends, and I'm hoping I'll get to see them the rest of my life. And they're like my really best friends. I know them since 8th grade, and met them, and like I said, I went to car shows my whole life. I've been to car shows ever since I was a little kid. Like the main 2 car shows I go to is the Summer Night Cruise in Somerset, Kentucky, and the Pigeon Forge Rod Run in Pigeon Forge. And I grew up going to Pigeon Forge, guys. That's why I love Pigeon Forge so much. I grew up going to Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Gatlinburg my whole life. We always went up in the cabins and spent the night there. I went camping there my whole life. Obviously, I'm going camping there this weekend. But I've been camping there my whole life. And me and my mama and my cousin go. And my cousin didn't go last year because it's that COVID crap. But she's going this year. But we don't go to cabins. We have went lately. But me and my mom and my dad, my brother, and my brother's best friend. My brother was in high school, I think, at the time, and we used to get everybody on my mom's side of the family. We'd go out and go putt-putt golfing. We'd go go-kart driving, and I love that. I miss that so much. But I go to Pigeon Forge all the time. You guys know that. That's my dream home. You guys know that. I'm going to eventually move there. I've always went to Dollywood. I love Dollywood. I've always, I'm saying, but guys, most of what's around in my life basically is all about cars. Like, I grew up loving cars, muscle cars, the old classics. I'm hoping these cars don't die out. I don't want all these newer cars to take over. And a bunch of people like me, younger generation like me, need to get into them. That way we can keep this going. Because I want to see these muscle cars still be here a long time. The same thing with the music. I want, like, Buddy Holly's music. You guys know Buddy Holly's one of my heroes. He's my favorite rock and roll singer. I want his music to live on, and all the rock and roll singers and the country singers to live on. And like I said, guys, growing up, I was mostly revolved around muscle cars and that life. And back in my freshman year, sadly, well, I'm used to it now, but my mom and dad divorced, and it's just me and my dad living here, which you guys know I go and see mom every month. 2 years ago, that's when it happened. They divorced back in my freshman year, close to the end, and they divorced, and it don't really bother me no more, guys. Because when you get older, stuff don't really bother you much, guys. Because I'm 18 years old. I'm an adult now. I've got my own life to live, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I get to see mom still. You guys know that, and I live with my dad. And growing up, me and my brother, we don't really get along. Still today, we get along good, but we fought in the past, and we still do today. I mean, I've gotten to fist fights with him, and I don't like that. But guys, I wish that wouldn't happen, but it just happens. You know, siblings. I mean, we get into fights with each other, but we don't really get along. We didn't really get along as much. But you know, guys, that happens. You know, but I'm just glad that, I mean, we do get along. I still love my brother to death. He's my family, and I love everybody in my family, and I love my friends, my best friends. You know, and you guys know back last year, my junior year, I got my license. I got my permit my sophomore year. I got my and and you guys know my freshman year, I got my first car, that Camaro out there, and I've been wanting a Camaro my whole life. I almost didn't get it, but I got it. My first car. The only thing I don't like, I mean, I hate about it is I don't have a V8, but I got that car back in my freshman year of high school as a 16th birthday gift, and it was one of the best presents I could ever ask for. Obviously, right now I do want something older, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep that car forever, but I love it still. It's never failed me. Um, I'm still wanting something older. I can have two classic vehicles with my truck, my 67 C10. But I got my license in my junior year, and I'm so happy I got it. Like, I was so happy that I got it, guys, because now I can drive whenever I want. And if I'm ever having a bad day, like at school or here, I go out and drive, and it always just disappear. That's what relieves my stress, guys. When I go through hard times, I can get in that car and just drive away. I could be alone. That's the reason why I get out and drive a lot, is because that way I can be myself, you know, not and not worry about anything else. But like I said, guys, I mean, I basically want to tell you guys my life story. Like I said, I grew up loving cars. That's mostly what my life revolves around, is cars. And also growing up, when I was little, I used to eat more than I used to eat more than I do now. Obviously now I slowed down and I've lost weight. You guys can't tell, but I've lost weight and I'm down to 270 pounds. I started losing weight last year, the year before. Obviously, you guys can tell now that I lost a lot of weight. I wasn't obese or anything like that. I used to be 320 pounds, but now I'm 270. I've lost almost like 50 pounds, more than probably. But like I said, my life has been mostly revolved around cars. And guys, I'm not one of these kids that nowadays that listen to a bunch of this rap music and they want newer cars and they want to move to big cities and stuff like that. I'm not one of those guys, because guys, I was raised right. You know what I'm saying? I don't like all this rap music crap. I don't like living in a big city. It's just the way I was raised, guys. I'm old school, and when I got more in old school, I love old. I just love stuff in the 50s and 60s. And in high school, like I said, guys, high school has been alright so far, but I can't wait to get out and go live my life. Guys, like I said, growing up, you know, I mean, life's been okay, but there's some things I miss when I was a kid. I'm glad I'm older now, but I do miss being a kid, doing a bunch of stuff when I was little that I don't do today. Like I say, go down the lake every weekend. And guys, growing up also, since Bo's here, that reminds me, I want to talk about growing up. We've had a lot of dogs, and I remember when I was little, we had a bunch of dogs, and I remember one of the first dogs I got when I was little. We got Angel. She was rescued. You guys don't remember her. It was a year before I started my channel when she passed away. We had to put her down. But after that, we got Levi. Well, after that, we got Harley. And Harley was a bulldog. And he was a good dog. He died of old age. Then we got, after we got him, we got Levi. Levi was small. I remember Mom bringing him in one day in a blanket, and she said, "Look, Jerry," opened the blanket. There he was. He was just a tiny little Chihuahua, and I was young, and we got him. Then after that, we got Jancy. After that, we got Dominic, and then we got Bully. And you guys know later on they passed away. We've always loved dogs ever since I was a kid, and you guys know last year we got Bo here. My boy, my buddy. Ain't you, bud? Yeah. My buddy. Anyway, the reason why we got him is because Dad's always loved German Shepherds, and I love German Shepherds. I do want to get a hound dog one day, but like I said, guys, Levi was one of the best dogs I could ever have. You guys remember Levi, but we've always loved dogs ever since I was a kid. But guys, that's basically my life story. I didn't really say too much, but that's basically my story with my life growing up. And I might do another one day, who knows. But yes, that's it. But guys, I've also, like I said, I grew up loving that stuff. I also grew up loving westerns. You guys know I love westerns. I love cowboys. I love guns. I grew up loving guns. I've been too afraid to shoot a gun when I was little, and I didn't start shooting guns till I was about, how old was I? I think I was 13. I shot my first gun, and that was my .22 Maryland rifle. That's another thing I love. I love guns. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off here, guys. And well, hang on, man. I'm gonna tell you guys some other stuff. And growing up, like I said, with me being old school, I love history. I've always loved history ever since I was a kid. And growing up, like I said, I love the 50s and 60s. To me, guys, back then it looks better than today. I wish I could travel back to the 50s and 60s. Not just because the cars, just because the theme, you know, the music, the cars, the stuff, everything. The style, just everything about the 50s and 60s I love. But, I mean, I don't know. But that's what I absolutely love about the 50s and 60s is everything like that. And I grew up loving it my whole life. And like I said, guys, I was raised around my grandparents a lot. That's part of the reason. That's part of what got me into muscle cars was my grandfather. Not only him, it was my uncle, my dad, and everything like that. But I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. My grandfather is basically kind of like my best friend in my family, basically. Like my family best friend, you guys know what I'm saying? Because I hang around him a whole lot. I'm going over there this weekend before I go camping, so that's the thing. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get off here. I just want to tell you guys my life story. And I want to thank you guys for watching this, if you did. I hope you, sorry, I'm just making sure. But guys, I'm glad you guys, hopefully you guys watch this. But like I said, guys, this is basically my life story. And this is basically, like I said, this right here is my life. These cars, these trucks, you know, and Bo there. But that's basically my life story, guys. I'm going to get off here, guys. I'm going to try to get this video uploaded. I might try to get a gameplay video out before I go to go camping. But that's basically my life story. Like I said, I hope you guys watch this. And hang on, guys. If you guys want more videos of me updating you guys on the trucks, I probably will update you guys on that. But also, like I said, guys, probably gonna get a gameplay video uploaded. I'm definitely gonna vlog camping. Like I said, you guys know I'm gonna do that. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I love you guys. I'm gonna get me something to eat because I haven't ate that much all day. Leave a like, please, and subscribe. I'll see y'all next video.